Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Tuesday, August 4th, day 29 in the Big Brother house. This is the beginning of the fifth week that the house guests have been in the Big Brother house. And it's going to be a slow day, in my opinion. I love to be wrong when I say these things, but I'll tell you why. First of all, I'm grabbing my cast list out of my car because I'm not currently going anywhere, and I thought I'd jump on to update you, being as I'm not expecting any major developments today. So, the Power of Veto meeting was held yesterday. It went just like expected. Lyric saved herself. Sorry, Lyric didn't save her. Taylor saved herself, and Lyric went up on the block. So there was some tears afterwards by Lyric. She feels a bit betrayed. Haley's excuse that I don't know if she even voiced it to Lyric, she may have, but I made, I promised her and Yash safety, but that was only for nominations, not for Power of Veto. And she's thinking, I made that promise early on in that HOH game. At the end, it was just me and Yash. So yeah, it's going to be Lyric or Melody or Drew leaving on Thursday. There's no changing that at this point. So the big thought is, right now it seems that Drew is the number one target. If he's still on the block on Thursday after the blockbuster, he's probably getting voted out. That's not a lock, but it's very likely. The question is it Melody or Lyric going if Drew saves himself at the blockbuster? And that is a question that is still up in the air. Although I would say right now it's leaning Melody, with Lyric staying, because Lyric is closer to Kamu than Melody. Melody is seen as tighter with Drew, and Drew is the threat. So even though, like last night, Devins and Dee were talking, well, what happened is Kamu actually suggested getting rid of Lyric because he's questioning her loyalty, even though they've been working on building loyalty and trust. He started to question it because she's made promises to lots of people, and that kind of has gotten around. And so Kamu actually said to Haley, and for some reason this year they're really deferring so far to the head of household, even after they've done the power of veto, or at least that's the excuse they're using. So everyone is like, well, that's what the head of household wants. Well, they're not in charge once the power of veto is over, but that's neither here nor there at the moment. It's just how they've been acting in the house. So Kamu and Haley doesn't like Lyric in part because of her potential closeness to Kamu, who is supposed to be one of her top allies, right? And then there's those that say that I think that Haley has a bit of a crush on Kamu, which is possible. I mean, we've seen it. I've seen that discussed too, with Haley talking with both Angela and Dee a few days ago about Kamu. So I digress as usual. Point is, Kamu suggested maybe keeping Melody over Lyric, because Melody is also seen as a non-competitive threat. Lyric is seen as more of a threat in competitions than Haley, than Melody. So why not get rid of Lyric while you have the chance? But they broached this topic to Dee and Devins. I thought they'd go along with it more than they actually did. I thought, it's Monday night, they'll go along with it, but by Thursday they'll have switched the tone and worked him over and said, no, we really ought to keep Lyric and get rid of Melody, because Melody is seen as a threat because she's closer to Drew, and I think Devin sees her as a threat too, so more than Lyric. So that's where things stand. It's gonna be quiet. They are on an inside lockdown. They got locked down yesterday morning, and they are being told they are locked down until Thursday. What does that mean? Does that mean there's a wall comp coming? We'll have 13 people, right? Yes, I think we'll have 13 people or 12 people potentially. What is it? We've lost 3, and so that's 14. We'll lose another one that gets you to 13, and one of them, the head of household, won't be able to compete, so that's 12. I guess 12 people in the wall's been done. I'd have to look. That may be the standard number. Maybe it is a wall comp this week. Whatever it is, we assume it's a big build, and that's the reason that they're locked down since yesterday morning. So let's give a quick rundown on the house guests and where they stand, because that's all I got to talk about at this point. Unless something crops up, there's not a whole lot to discuss in my world. And my world is what's important game-wise, and with a little bit of whatever I'm, what do I want to say? Whatever I'm just locked in on, right? Obsessed with. There was the word I was looking for. So I've got my list here. We will look at the names, and I will tell you a brief little thought on any one of them. Angela, Angela is getting closer and closer to Haley this week. She spent a lot of time in the head of household room. It is being noted by some of the house guests in the crossover alliance. Specifically, Devins has made a point to point it out to Barrett when he's been talking with Barrett. It's like, Angela's spending a lot of time up there with Haley, So there's questions on that front, I think, in Devin's minds possibly about how loyal is Angela to them versus whoever's in power, or Haley specifically, maybe. So there's that going on. She's getting her way if Drew goes home, and so she's not been quite as super paranoid this week because things are going right. D, I think D's in a great spot. D is she knows how to manipulate everybody. She's got the house wrapped around her finger, in my opinion. Those that matter, right? I think those that she doesn't have wrapped around her finger aren't in power, and she's working to get rid of them. And I would also say that I don't think she has Mallory or Melody or Lyric or maybe Taylor. All these ladies, I don't think she has them wrapped around her finger, but I also think none of them are doing anything. Well, Taylor won a competition but saved herself, right? So Dee's doing great. Definitely making jury. If she's, again, I've said it, if she's not in the top 2 or if she's not in the top 3 at the end, she got taken out by some kind of weird circumstances, maybe a white locust of this season, or maybe a double eviction where someone managed to rally the troops to say, we got to get her out now. And if she makes the top 3, the only reason she doesn't win is because she didn't win the final head of household competition, or whoever of the 3 didn't take her to the end, right? If she doesn't win it and somebody else gets to pick and they don't pick her, which they would be wise not to pick her. Haley, well, she's doing great. She's head of household. She's ruling the roost, as it were. So how long is she going to last? Don't know. I don't know. Once the Camus, Haley, and Chuck alliance has enough tension put on it, any one of them could go as a sacrificial vote kind of a thing. Barrett, I want to say Barrett's doing great. I don't know. Barrett's doing okay. He's not at the bottom, and he's not a bad player. He knows the game. He knows what's going on, but he doesn't have a lot of, I think the term some people would use is agency in the house. He's kind of just there. It's definitely making him not a target, but I don't know if it's going to get him to the end or get him a win if he gets to the end, because people may say, what did you do? But again, we're only in our 4th week. Chuck just drives me crazy. Chuck's a lot of talk without a lot of saying anything. So I'm going to skip over Chuck. I think Chuck is a placeholder who will eventually go at some point. I always think of the movie Time Bandits, where the evil is the character Evil. I don't remember what his name was, but it may have been just Evil. He basically looks at one of his minions and says, it's time for you to go. And the minion just kind of looks at him and is like, oh, thank you, sir. And then he blows up. It's kind of like Chuck's kind of like just there. He's going to go eventually. Just don't know when. Drew, if Drew doesn't win Blockbuster, he's gone. And the online community is completely amazed, at least on Blue Sky. A lot of people are completely amazed with how Drew just seems to be looking at a gun pointed at his face and not seeing it, or talking himself out of it. He's getting lots of reinforcement, by the way, by his closest allies. Barrett is telling him, now you're okay. I think you're okay. I think you're okay," kind of thing. Because Barrett has no reason to tell Drew anything other than that. Because if Drew doesn't win the blockbuster, Drew's gone. And if Barrett puts too much energy into, there's nothing Drew can do at this point to save himself. He's not going to turn a bunch of votes. He's not going to turn heads. So it's like, dude, you just got to win the blockbuster. And if Drew if Barrett even tells him that vocally, it might be one of those, well, you've talked too much now, Barrett. Now you're a risk. And Barrett's got to be around next week. He has to stay. He needs to be in the game, so he can't lay it on the line too much. Latrice again, another placeholder. In my opinion, I don't think she's doing much. I don't think she knows the game very well. And she is an annoying. She's been on slop all week. People thought it was going to make her freak out, but she's handled it really, really well, which has been a surprise to a lot of people. And in the house, I mean. So she's doing fine. I just don't think she's seen as a competitive threat or a threat of any kind. Lyric, everyone was like, "Oh, she's turning her game up. She's going to be great. She's doing this." I don't know. Is she? Has she? Yesterday's biggest thing to do with Lyric, besides her getting put on the block, was this whole thing about she told Chuck she was a lawyer, but it was a miscommunication. This is a problem with Flashback, by the way, is that people don't have Flashback to verify things. There's a limited group of people. I'm lucky to be one of them that has access to a way to go back and check the old feeds. And so I've done that on several occasions. And this was one of those occasions where someone told me, well, this is the time that people say that Lyric told Chuck she was a lawyer. And I went back, I found a 6-minute video. Maybe I said this yesterday. And I uploaded it, and she did not say she was a lawyer. Chuck mentioned, a lawyer's a profession you want to hide. Now, somebody else mentioned that they thought she might have said something late at night. It was like, it might have been like 2 a.m. or something. And I went back and looked, and Chuck and Haley had a 90-minute conversation roughly in the backyard, one-on-one. And I don't think she told him that she was a lawyer in that conversation. Maybe Chuck mentioned the word lawyer again, but I was not about to sit through 90 minutes of Haley and Chuck talking, because that would have made my head explode. So I didn't do it. If someone could give me a 5-minute period and said, this is when it happened in that little range, I'd go do it, but I'm not doing 90 minutes. Just not. I did actually consider recording the whole thing and uploading it to some AI thing and saying, you watch it. But I didn't do that. It just was like, here's where AI can be helpful. You watch it and you transcribe it and you tell me if it was mentioned. Melody she's not starting the day out well. She's kind of being a bump on a log. They're just playing games in the house right now. They're playing a version of Pong. They're playing 3-cup Pong. They're not drinking. They're just throwing like lids towards the cups. But Melody is sitting in what we call the hot tub room this year, which has been in the past the workout room or the sauna room, everything right by the bathroom, the little cubby there. But there's what looks like a hot tub. It's a play on Hot Tub Time Machine, but it's really a seating area. They like that room. It's a version of the upstairs, but you don't have to go upstairs to get to it, right? The upstairs lounge area. So they've got 2 lounge areas, and she's just cuddled up in that under blankets, just laying there. I think Drew might be in there at the moment, or was in there, or Barrett. No, Barrett was in there. But they got nothing to do today, and they're just kind of like, ugh. So Melody is not doing anything. Mallory, I'm not sure what Mallory was doing yet this morning. She's been doing a lot of pacing. One of Mallory's little idiosyncrasies is she likes to pace. She likes to, remember how Ian, the stemming, as it's called, that Ian did, he would get out in the hammock and just rock for hours. Well, Mallory likes to walk in circles. She likes to pace, and it's a small space, so she has to go in circles. But she's done it in multiple locations. She's done it multiple times in the storage room, walking around the center little work island. And last night she was doing it up in the gym. She was walking in a circle, walking around a piece of equipment. And yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's just something about her. So she's doing that. She's not off the block. So, but she's still very paranoid. I think she's having problems after having been on the block multiple times. I think she's having problems not being on the block. Plus, she sees all of her allies are going up, right? Taylor has been fine. I don't know. We could see saying Taylor's wins. I could see Taylor potentially winning if the cards fell right. She's being quiet, but she knows what's going on, and she's pretty sharp, but I just don't know if she has the relationships to do it. Now, she did win this competition, but it was also said this competition was a crapshoot, right? The wine, the poison wine. So not sure on her. Camus, he's what he is. Camus is very good, by the way. And this is a thing he does. It's a practice. He makes a point to do it. I'm sure he's trained himself to do it, to ask people, how are you doing? Like, what's going on with you? Are you doing okay? It's a really good technique on making someone feel appreciated, because everybody always wants to talk about themselves, right? I do it all the time. Talk about myself. I mean, I am not as good as Camus is about saying, but what about you? How are you doing? That's a really endearing trait to have with people. And while I'm not rooting for Camus to win, he does have that little particular device that he uses a lot. And I watch it. I watched him do it with Chuck last night. He goes, there he goes again. How are you doing? How are you doing? What are you doing? Are you doing okay? Are you taking care of yourself? Just all the things he does. And I'm just sure he got trained at some point to do this, and he just does it now as a habit. And it's a good habit. I don't know if he's sincere or not. I just think he's trained himself that's a good technique. Devins. He's fine. He's okay. Somebody on my timeline was saying they didn't think he was in it to win it, kind of a thing. And I'm thinking, no, he's playing it the way he's playing it. And I'm pretty sure I said this in a podcast in the past day or two. I think that Dee, and more so Devins, are this is a long-term thing for them. They've gotten into the upper level of reality TV. Most of these house guests come into the house, and some of them think, I'm going to walk out and be a reality star, and I'm going to have my socials, and I'm going to do all this stuff, and I'm going to be able to make a living doing this stuff for the rest of my life. Very few. This is like professional sports versus, a high school athlete saying, I'm going to play in the pros. Well, very few of you will play in the pros. Matter of fact, almost none of you. Rick and Dee are two that are playing in the pros. They have made the pro level, and they are more worried about maintaining that. They can make a living in the reality TV world. So Rick doesn't have to win this season to continue his play. He can just cruise along and go to the next reality show, or as someone else said to me in a private chat I had, they thought that Rick could have probably could be a game show host. And I guess I didn't even know. Rick was like a news anchor, right? That's one of his past things that he's done. I didn't know that because I didn't watch Rick on Survivor. So Rick's got the chops. He knows what to do. And so Rick's fine. He probably won't win it, but he'll stay around long enough. He's giving good TV. He's got to be, the production just got to love him. It's just a matter of getting him to do whatever they want him to do, right? He was supposed to be in the next Superman movie, just as like a bit character or something, and he had to give that up so that he could do this show. So he's got connections. He's good. Yash is the last one, and Yash is a wild card. I don't know where Yash is falling at this point. He doesn't have all the alliances he's gotten into have been pretty much created for him, not by him. I mean, he thinks he's created them, but the people have bought into it as well. Like, well, I'll take Yash as a alliance partner, but no one is totally loyal to him. So I'm not sure, but I could see him going very deep. Could he win it? If the right people get voted out, he possibly could, because the guy can talk. Whether what he says is important or not, I don't know, but he can talk. So that's your rundown of the current people that are still in the house. And what are we at? Hey, we're also 20 minutes. So I took what was a 5-minute podcast and I turned it into 20 minutes. I hope I didn't bore you. Hope you guys have a good rest of your Tuesday. I'm expecting more of the same tomorrow as far as the house activity, but I'll love to come back on here and say, I was wrong. The house is blown up and here's what's going on. I just don't see it happening. This week is going to be slow. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I could see it happening, if it's the wall, there's a strong possibility that Dee could win it, right? She's supposed to be a comp beast. But it's also possible that someone like Mallory could win that if it's the wall. Lyric could certainly win it, and I don't know what Lyric would do. I have no idea what Lyric would do. She's promising everybody, so she could be a total wild card. I suppose Taylor could win it. There's no reason. It's usually someone that's relatively light, doesn't have to have a lot of muscles. It's more about holding up your own body weight and sheer grit and determination. There is that too. So that's why it could be any of those. The tall people aren't going to do it. Barron ain't winning the wall comp. Not happening. So, all right, with that, I am going to sign off. Wish you guys a happy Tuesday. Thank you to everyone for your support. And if you don't support me in any way, just listen to the commercials at the end. But again, if you would like to support me in another way, you can go to my Linktree. If you're familiar with the Linktree thing, you can look up BB Gossip on Linktree or just Google Linktree BB Gossip, and you will find all kinds of links to all the different things that I am up to. And some of those are also like donation links. If you want to be a patron, if you'd like to send a Ko-fi, you can send it like a one-time thing. Yes, I am promoting this a little bit because the donations haven't been much this season. I don't ask a lot. I've always said, I don't ask for much. And those that can will. Well, there aren't many people doing it this year. And while, again, it's not a make or break for me, it is a nice little motivation and a little pep in my step when somebody does. And I do always thank the folks that do it. And if I've never thanked you, then I missed it somehow and you should yell at me. You can do that by emailing ilovereality@gmail.com. Again, also, if you have any questions and you don't know how to get a hold of me, ilovereality, all one word, @gmail.com. You are welcome to email me and I will respond to your email. I guarantee you I will. I don't ignore those and I respond to them all. All right, with that, I am going to go. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.